Hello. So today's live, I'm talking about avoiding weight regain after weight loss surgery. And this is such a common fear, occurrence, and a topic people want to know about. So I do talk about it quite a bit. Welcome everyone that's jumping on. I love seeing names that I know. So that's wonderful. Thank you. So we're talking about avoiding weight regain after weight loss surgery. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to talk about why it's so easy, mindset, and then I'm going to talk about 3 tips that you can do that will help you to maintain your weight. Okay, so let's go through those. The first thing I want to really explain is that it's really easy to regain weight after having weight loss surgery. Okay, when you go through bariatric surgery, there's a lot of metabolic changes, and because you lose significant weight in a short period of time, you actually drop down your metabolic rate. So when you go into maintenance phase after weight loss surgery, you can be weight maintaining on a lower level, and you will be generally a lower level of energy, calories per day. Some people can be weight maintaining on 1,000 calories per day, 1,200 calories per day, 1,500. So less than if somebody hadn't had bariatric surgery. So that's why it's really easy to regain weight after weight loss surgery. As with all my lives, everyone, if you haven't been on any of my lives, I love questions. I love comments. And if you have any of those as you're listening, even if they're on a slightly different topic, please put them in, because I do stop and I do answer questions and all those. So let's talk about avoiding weight regain after weight loss surgery. Now, the first thing I want to talk about before I get into the tips is mindset. And I'm going to ask you, as you're listening to this, either whether it be live or the replay, it's an opportunity to reflect on what you think, okay, your thoughts, mindset. Do you feel, or have you felt, that the surgery should do all the heavy lifting, should do all the work for you? Are you feeling stuck by fear? Is the fear of weight regain quite something that feels really heavy on your shoulders and makes you feel uncomfortable, like it's really heavy, and it can be really a heavy weight and stop you from really enjoying your life and feeling confident? So let's talk. The reason why is there's a lot of heaviness, and there's a lot of it's a dark cloud over many people. I feel when I'm coaching and when people come to work with me in my coaching program, there can be this really dark cloud of people using fear and terrified and all of these really big words with weight regain. And it means they're not feeling confident. And that's why they've come to work with me. But we don't want to be in that state. But also when I'm talking mindset, I want to challenge you. If you think in the back of your mind that I should all be fine, it'll be, especially if you're in that weight loss space, it's not going to happen to me because the surgery should do it all for me. The tool of the surgery will weans off or diminishes in time. And when you get to that maintenance phase, it's much more about what you're doing. Okay, so let me talk more about this. We want to find that happy, lovely place in weight maintenance when you're in your zone, and I'm putting my hands like this, on track, on your path, in your zone. It's not one line, and I was giving someone an example yesterday. It's not about being like in a diet, perfect, you have to do this, and then if you're off that, you're totally off that, you've lost track, and it's all doom and gloom. You actually have leeway. It is very normal for weight to go up and down over the year, and that's very normal, and you want to find your zone and find confidence there and feel relaxed and know if you do drift off, how to bring yourself back. So I want to talk to you about some key things that can help you keep you in that zone. This zone is weight maintenance. It's not about staying at exactly the same kilograms or pounds every day. It is about staying within a limit and also checking in, and I call it relaxed self-monitoring, because it's not tightly wound up. It's not, I have to weigh myself every day, got to do this, or if I don't do that, I have weight regain. That is not the case. It is about checking in, keeping yourself in that zone, on track, whatever the words are for you, okay? I want to just answer this question, and then I'm going to go into my 3 tips that you can do that really will help you stay in maintenance and avoid weight regain. So what is considered acceptable amount of regain? At my lowest, I look terrible, gaunt and bony. It's definitely difficult mentally to accept the extra kilos and acknowledge that I look healthier. Yeah. So the path after weight loss surgery is actually, well, the point before you really find out where you're going to land, so to speak, after weight loss surgery, I feel is around 2 years. Yes, people lose weight and they often feel, they get comments, you've lost too much, all of that, because sometimes you can lose some muscle, well, you do lose some muscle, but you can lose a bit more, your weight goes right down. But then over time you fill out, and I have lots of people say, my body shape is changing. Now, there's no exact amount of acceptable weight regain, but if we're going to look at it on a chart, your weight loss goes down and you hit the bottom of your weight loss, the lowest weight you're going to be. We don't know where that is until you start gaining a bit. Then you come up a bit, and it really depends on you, your stature, and a whole lot of factors, whether it's 2 kilograms or 10 pounds or whatever it is for you, a bit. I've had a client that he had a significant bypass and he came up 10 kilos and loved it, and he settled there. So everyone, but he was a tall man, so everyone's very different. So it's coming down, then you come up a bit, then plateau off, and then that's your new kind of where you're going to settle, and your body shape can change. You can get more active, there's more muscle, and your body settles in. So you've put on some and you look healthier, but yeah, there can be that mental struggle. So acceptable, I don't know if I like the word acceptable, because it's you and you are acceptable, meaning what has happened to you is that's your weight regain, so you look healthier. Often it can be an emotional journey that when you get down to a certain weight, you feel any weight regain, the scales going back up a bit is, some people say, failure and all of that. And that's what we really want to unpick, okay? I'm very happy to have a DM with you if you want to have a DM about this. So the maintenance stage can be the hardest for people because, one, you're not seeing the scales continually go down. So you don't get that kind of feedback of like, oh, that high that people get when the scales are always moving down. 2, it's rewarding yourself for the behaviours that you're doing and all of that kind of the key things that are really important, but aren't they the really exciting stuff like the scales moving down? So maintenance can be really challenging. And also it's very normal for weight to pop up and down. It's that emotional of being kind and moving out of that dieting mindset and getting a little bit more softness and flexibility or leeway around what weight maintenance looks like. It is not about getting on the scales every week, for example, or every 2 weeks or whatever you weigh, or every day if that's what you weigh. And for me, exactly the same. It is going to move around. So Tony, 4 years and 20 kilos. Okay, so you want to stop that, Tony. You want to really intervene, okay? It is much easier to stop weight regain than to lose weight after bariatric surgery, okay? So we really want to intervene. Send me a DM if you would like, and I'm very happy to chat to you. So 19 months, shape changed a bit, scales up and down. Yeah, it can be the scales aren't really moving up and down, but my shape is changing. And people say to me, oh, I'm 9 months out from surgery. It's a long time. No, you're still early days. So I want to share 3 practical things that you can do that really help with weight maintenance. Okay. Now, number 1, I know people use apps, and apps are great to track protein and do, but I'm a really big fan of having pen on paper. And when you do 1-page pen on paper of tracking your protein, you can put down things not only like what you ate, when you're doing some tracking, but also your behaviours. And I'm going to explain why this is really important. And the people are joining, welcome. We're talking about avoiding weight regain after weight loss surgery. This is my first key tip. So I've been going a little while just to get to this point. But tracking pen on paper, 1 page per day, and you have 1 page on one day, you not only track your protein, when you eat, but you can track your activity. You can see what your behaviours are like. You can note down key things. And guess what? You keep that record. Because when you're weight maintaining and you have these days of tracking and these days of intake with your behaviors and your activity and your fluid, in 6 months' time, the scales start moving up a little bit. You can go back and say, what's changed? Is anything changed? You can do some tracking then. Your scales are going up a bit. You can do some tracking and you can actually look back at what you had before. And what's changed? I'm not doing as much activity anymore. Started eating a little bit after dinner and I wasn't eating after dinner there. I'm snacking a little bit more after I get home from work or when I'm getting the dinner ready for the kids. When small things come into your diet over time, it's hard to sometimes recognize all the little extra bits that you're having. But when you have a record, and a very simple record, and when you have pen on paper, it's easier to write down certain things than when you were doing an app. You can write down emotions, you can write down feeling like I ate this and I felt really satisfied. So it can be really wonderful to have good records. So that one is keeping track of intake behaviors when weight's stable. It's lovely to be able to go back and really get clear about the small little things that have come in to your diet or your lifestyle that could be contributing to weight regain. So that's number one. This next one relates to that, but number two is whether you're like on a Google Calendar or Outlook or you've got a paper, every so often, it might be like once a month in weight maintenance, you have a couple of days of tracking your protein, just checking in. It's relaxed self-monitoring. It might be every 6 weeks. It really depends on what you feel you need, and it can change. So it could be every 2 weeks for a period, and then it might be every 3 weeks for a period. It's not about, oh my goodness, these are the days I have to do it. If things happen on those days, like let's say the car breaks down, you've lost the cat, the child's sick, you just move it to the next week. When you've got a bit more headspace, keep going with all the things that you're doing, but having those reminders in your diary to monitor yourself really at regular intervals, long term. This is around self-monitoring in a kind, relaxed way. So it's not about am I doing good or bad, because that's dieting mindset. It's, okay, what am I observing? Okay, my protein's drifted down. I'm doing, because when you put meals on pen or paper, you see, are they really lifting their weight with respect to getting enough protein in? Is it really helping you? Sometimes you swap a few things out of your diet, your protein intake drifts down and your carbohydrate intake drifts up. So tracking and checking on your protein is not, you doing good or bad? It's just, where am I at? Okay, I need to tweak a few things. And you can then look back at your other records and go, I used to have that for breakfast. I forgot about that and I really enjoy that. Because our memory will not serve you. Your memory forget things. I have had so many people over the years when I haven't seen them for a long time and I check them, we're going back into meal and snack ideas, and I talk about some ideas and they go, I used to have that and I really enjoyed it, forgotten about that, and they're madly writing down all these food ideas just to remind them. So tip 1, keep a record. To place reminders in your diary at intervals that are good for you to just check in on your protein intake. And tip 3 is moving your body regularly. Okay, research supports and shows that what part of weight maintenance after weight loss surgery, regular movement is really important. Okay, and what can happen over time, and years over things happen, you can move your body less. And they have found that regular movement and keeping up regular activity helps with weight maintenance. So that's obviously a real positive, but also I love activity from a mental health perspective of feeling more positive, helping with sleep. It helps manage negative thinking. So moving body, as I say, it is not about having Lycra and leg warmers on and going to the gym, and I'm showing my age there. It is about moving the body in a way that you enjoy. Is it bowling? Is it netball, basketball? Is it going paddleboarding with a friend? I had a client that took back up, not roller skating, rollerblading. Instead of meeting your friends for coffee, engage them in actually meeting for a walk first and getting regular activity. So it's not about torture or going to the gym and counting the calories. It's about moving your body regularly. and enjoying it in a way that suits you. So they are my 3 tips. And as I am kind of recapping those tips, I would love if anyone has any questions or thoughts or anything they want to share. So avoiding weight regain, my 3 very practical tips are keeping a record of what you're eating, and when you're in weight maintaining, when you do tracking, have a record of it. Make notes on that pen and paper. What's life like? How are you feeling? I'm stopping and I'm finishing eating when I'm satisfied. I'm not overeating. What are you doing after dinner if you're not eating? When you used to eat, what are the things that are working for you? Things that remind you. Number 2, place regular reminders in your diary. This is one of your non-negotiables, to check in on your protein intake at regular intervals. And number 3 is moving your body regularly, saying, how am I going to build activity into my life? It's something that I can commit to. That might be one of your negotiables. So they are my 3 key tips. And for people who are jumping on now, I talked in the beginning about mindset and why it is so easy to regain weight after weight loss surgery. So thank you so much, everyone, for jumping on. If there's no other questions or comments, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate for the questions and comments that I had. I really love that. And if you need to send me a DM, that lovely person that had an unhappy face, please do. Very happy to chat to you. I have a program. It's called the Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp, and I have 3 different levels of coaching in my program, depending on where you are after your surgery and how much one-on-one support you need. You can be in any part of the world. And if you want to know more about my coaching program, please just send me the word bootcamp and I send you a link with my program video. It's just over 7 minutes long, and it's a bit of a sneak peek into my coaching. You get to see who my coaching's for, the key areas that I focus on with my clients in my coaching, and outcomes. So lovely. Thank you so much for your time and for being on, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.